Okay, welcome everybody to the Wyman Hotel. We are just finishing up the 2024 Hardrock 100. Of course, we have the three-time champ, Courtney Dauwalter here. Courtney. So fun to do this live with a packed studio audience here, standing room only at the Wyman Hotel. Big thank you to Wyman Hotel for hosting us here tonight. To our viewers who are here in studio, make sure you stick around afterwards. Courtney and I are just going to talk for 20 or 30 minutes. It's going to be super cash, and then we're going to go next door for some more happy hour vibes to celebrate the 2024 Hardrock, and also to celebrate the people that are still slogging their way around the course. Yeah. We do have pizza over there too, so don't be shy, dig in. And also a big, huge thank you to Sun God. This is Will Allman. He came all the way from London. You see Courtney and I both rocking our fire new Courtney Dauwalter collab, Sun God. Sunny's here, so. Okay, so before we get to the hard-hitting interview questions, I have a funny story to share because last night, Ryan and I hiked up Grouse American Pass, and we saw Courtney and Mike Ambrose going up there. And I just so happened to be having a text exchange with my old lacrosse teammates from college who are not in any way interested in trail running, but know who Courtney Dauwalter is. One of whom he's from Minnesota, Courtney's home state, and he made the comment about how you used to kick his ass in Nordic skiing back in the day. And this is the second person that I've met who has no connection to trail running who's made that type of a comment to me in the last couple of years. So I just wanted to start with that because I thought it was hilarious. Nobody is safe from Courtney Dauwalter's wrath, even my college lacrosse teammates. So anyway, just a fun, entertaining thing. Courtney, first.
I was nervous when you were like, I have a funny story. I'm like, where is he going with this?
Not embarrassing. Not embarrassing to you, only to everybody else. Anyway, first, very easy question. How are you feeling 8 hours removed from your third lap around this heroic course?
Man, I feel pretty wrecked. I have told a couple people that there's no guarantees if I make any complete sentences right now. It's a hard race. That is a hard course. These mountains are wild.
Any Hardrock finishers in the audience here tonight? Yes! So, at least a few of us know what you're talking about. So, before we get to the run itself, I figured maybe we start with the video that came out because as you were tucking in on Thursday night to get your final sleep before the run, Harmo and I were on the couch watching Team Sport, the new film from Solomon that just came out. And I have to say, it was fantastic. But there's one anecdote in there where I would love to have you explain a little bit more, which was there was one long race that Kevin didn't attend and that you guys made the pact afterwards, let's never do that again. What race was it? Take us into that conversation. How did it initiate? How did Kevin's absence, how was it detrimental?
Yeah, so it's a team sport by Solomon. Alexi and Julian, the directors, are actually here. So big kudos to them for putting that together. Kevin did not come when I did the Mount Fuji 100 in 2018.
I was there.
Yeah. And you didn't make me mashed potatoes or do anything useful.
No toothbrush.
Yeah. And I think both of us afterwards were just reflecting on this sport as basically a tool to make memories with people and in places. And when we weren't at the same place making those memories together, they were significantly less cool. Like going home and describing to him afterwards all these things that happened during the trip was way less fun. And it was like, we should build these memories together so that we have this combined, association with what happened and how funny or sad or hard it was. And like, that's what made it special. So I think also Kevin slept probably less when he was at home just tracking on his phone the whole time. So we were like, well, let's just make this a thing we do together because it's way more fun and way more special.
What a great point. And what a perfect title for the film. I love it. So shout out to Alexi and Julian. Congratulations, guys. Great, great film. Mm-hmm. The other character who's in the film quite a lot, who doesn't get a lot of shine in general, is Mike Ambrose. He was with you when we saw you on Grouse American Pass. I think he spent most of the night out in the mountains with you. Say a few words about Mike, what he's meant to you in your career, why he's the right pacer for Hardrock.
When I have pacers in races, I just want to be with the people I love who make me laugh, and we can, build those memories together and have a big night out there. So Mike's paced me a ton. We've known each other since 2017 through Solomon and has become one of my best friends. So sharing the night with him last night during Hardrock was really cool. We did handies together. We went through the very confusingly long and dark Pole Creek. And it was just great to have a good friend out there.
Yeah. So I have heard that Mike was the guy who originally identified your talent and made the connection with Solomon. Of course, Mike is now the country manager for Normal. You guys obviously remain very good friends, but I'm sure the audience here, and I'm certainly curious to hear about that. Is that true? Was Mike the original connector with Solomon?
Yeah. Mike gave me my first ambassadorship with Solomon, sent me some shoes, and when I said I would like the men's medium shorts and the men's medium T-shirts, he didn't bat an eye. He sent it over, and ever since then, it's just been building this really cool friendship.
Yeah. So last thing on the film before we move to the race itself, you finish with just this beautiful sentiment of using the analogy of a step ladder and having your results and the notoriety that's been inherent in that, which I know doesn't always make you comfortable, as something to just inspire the next generation. Say a few words about that.
I think that's what we should all want. With whatever we do, we should want someone to take that and make it even better, because imagine that world. Yeah. So yeah, step ladder, a rung in the ladder. I love it. And I think the future of ultra running, trail running is super cool right now.
And here's a good example. Right as you were sitting down, this young man got an autograph on the T-shirt. So the step ladder is alive and well here in the front row. Okay, the race. Let's start from the beginning. We saw you at Chapman. We were volunteering there. You were in and out quickly with the crew. And then the next update we saw, you were with Camille at Telluride. So just tell us a little bit about that opening section of the race. Any highlights or lowlights?
In general, it was a pretty low start. It was so hard, and for some reason my body just wasn't on board with what we were doing yet. So from the beginning until about Kroger's, it was like all systems not go. we don't feel like running, and nothing was regulating. I was so hot. I'm sure anyone out crewing could feel how hot it was out there. So yeah, it was a really rough start of the day, and Telluride is 27 miles? And when you're at mile 27 and it's already feeling that bad, it's a little daunting to head out onto the next climb and believe that it will get better. But sometimes that's the only choice we have.
What about sharing the miles with Camille? Did that help?
Yeah, really fun. We only actually ran side by side for a short bit, but it was great. She's an amazing person and a teammate of mine who I've gotten to know over the years. So that felt like it turned it into just a adventure run. So the next major aid station after Telluride is Ouray. And what I heard is that when you arrived, you said, hey, I don't want any cameras on me, which for those of us who've run Hardrock, you know that's sort of a sign that maybe you're suffering a little bit. So
Tell us what happened at Ursa. Was it a moment of struggle? How did you get through it?
No, I think there was kind of a miscommunication there because no one in my crew or myself said that.
Okay.
And I love that people from all over get to watch these things and be part of it. So I apologize if that was your camera that got moved away. But coming into Ursa, was finally feeling like I was moving in a running motion better. And so when I rolled in, I just told my crew, the train is on the tracks. Like, I want to flip this quick and go. And so I stopped there really, really briefly, but only because I felt like I had momentum that I needed to just capitalize on.
Okay, so thank you for setting the record straight. Where I was going with that is that, to me, as a two-time Hardrock finisher myself, Ursa is a uniquely terrible spot on the course. And I recall in 2021, when we both ran the race, you had a hard time leaving there up on Camp Bird Road, ultimately didn't finish. So I don't know if there's, for people who are aspiring hard rockers, if there's anything about your race specifically, about how to prepare yourself to arrive there, or what about it makes it a uniquely challenging moment in the race?
It's an amazing place, amazing energy there, but also don't get trapped there because the chairs are extra comfy feeling. The climbs in both directions out of it feel really stressful and long, and like, how can I ever? And you're just really far into the race already. So all of that adds up to the perfect storm, especially because cars are like 10 feet away if you decided to stop.
Yeah. It's the lowest part of the course. So it's also the hottest part of the day, but also a relief from the high altitude that is oppressive in the 100 miles.
Yeah, it's a trap.
But you have a vertical mile in both directions, whether you're going counterclockwise or clockwise, whether you're going up Engineer or to Virginius. You have a 5,000-foot climb.
But always so many great people there cheering, like such good energy there.
See, this is why Courtney's great. She focuses on the positive. I'm still traumatized from my visit. My visit to Ursa last year wasn't good, by the way. Thank you to the good people of Ursa for keeping me going, though. Okay, so as I've said a couple of times, then at sunset, Ryan and I hiked up Grouse American Pass. It was absolutely postcard spectacular evening.
Stunning.
Paint the picture for the audience here.
Oh my gosh. Well, you guys were up. It's this small peak before Handy's. Yeah. So you climb up there and get this insane view in all directions. And the sun was starting to set. So the sky was lit up in all the colors. It was really cool to see you guys up there.
So then you go up Handy's and into the night, which is a challenging moment for any hard rocker. Before we got started, you admitted, to me at least, that it was a rough night. And yes, that Pole Creek section can go on forever. So I'd fill out the story after Handy's and going through the night. What was challenging for you?
Handy's went pretty well. I was with Mike. He had just started pacing, so we had high energy and getting the down low on his whole day with my crew and what he had been up to. But by the time we got into Sherman, I climbed aboard the puke train and just stayed on that for the rest of the race. So it kind of led to just a whirlpool of like depleted energy and dry heaving all over Pole Creek. Sorry, Pole Creek.
Yeah, sorry, Pole Creek.
It was a hard night. It felt like the start was hard, and then I had a middle section that went fairly well where things were clicking, and then the end section just tanked again.
Do you have any idea what to attribute that to? Obviously, a lot of this is random, and it's hard to ascribe a reason for this physical sensations or the emotional disposition, but is there any reason for that?
No, not yet. I think I'll talk with my crew and Kevin and see if we can maybe come up with some theories that we could, try the next time. But currently in my current brain power state, I have no ideas.
We'll give you a few days.
Thank you.
On it. Sleep on it. All right, so bringing the story full circle, after you get to Pole Creek, which we should say for our listeners who've never done it, is a really unique section of the course because it's theoretically the most runnable trail on Hardrock, but you're also above 11,000 feet for like 19 miles. So just very, very long exposure to altitude. But then you mercifully drop into Cunningham at mile 90-ish, where you swapped out Ambrose for Kevin. So bring the story full circle.
Here's Kevin.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, Kevin took me up and over a Little Giant, which is not little at all. And I was struggling a lot. So he was telling a lot of stories from their crewing day, and I was just thinking of putting my next foot forward and trying to get up that climb and get it finished with, knowing there was a downhill and a rock and a town ready to, finish this thing.
Which you did for the third time. So 3 years in a row, you've set course records each time, lowering them each time. 26:44 in 2022, 26:14 last year, 26:11 this year. Each one of those races, even though they're sort of clustered in a sort of a similar time strata, I'm sure are very different events. When looking back at the 2024 race 20 years from now, what do you think will be sort of like the main thing you remember from it?
For sure, the people that we had out here helping us. We had Kevin and some of our normal crew buddies who always come, but then my parents made their first trip to Silverton, their first time experiencing Hardrock, so that makes it extra special.
Now you're making me remember that I had a question that I meant to ask Kevin yesterday. The peace sign logo for the Do crew, where did that come from? Like, you guys are all branded out with like whatever, and it's a specific thing that feels appropriate for Courtney.
Yeah, so when I did my first 100 that I finished, so it was my second 100-mile race, because I dropped out of the first attempt, my mom gave me this card and this little peace sign, like coin-sized thing that basically said, you can do this, you're stronger than you think. And now every time I race, that peace sign coin is in my pack with me. Just to like have her with me and that message and the feeling of family. And so Solomon helped us turn the peace sign symbol into my initials, actually. So it's a C and a D.
I'm so glad I asked.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. So, point of personal curiosity also, clockwise versus counterclockwise. I've only gone counterclockwise twice. And it's interesting because now a lot of longtime hard rockers say clockwise is the faster and easier direction, which is the way we went this year, just so everybody knows. And both the course records that you and Ludo set today are clockwise, obviously. But also last year you were within 3 minutes going counterclockwise in very different conditions. So again, this is mostly a question for me, but for aspiring hard rockers, as somebody who's gone both ways, how do you compare the two?
Man, I was talking to someone about this just a few minutes ago who's done both directions also, and we concluded that they're both really hard.
So freaking hard. I was hoping you were going to say clockwise was easier, because then next, if I get in ever to do it, then I wouldn't be so intimidated.
I mean, if that's the nudge, then yeah, clockwise is easier.
You say also in the film that like you never want to have a perfect race, which I love. So maybe if you could just provide an example of this year's Hardrock, of like something that felt perfect and maybe something that was imperfect.
Oh man, it was predominantly imperfect. I think perfect was our combination of people and the crew that we had out here helping us. But otherwise, I couldn't list very many perfect things from.
Really, it was a really hard day.
It was a really hard day.
Yeah.
Yeah. But those are the cool ones too. Like those memories will sit really high for me.
Yeah. It made me also think, as I was watching the film, like Hardrock feels like the Courtney race because, again, for those who are less familiar, if you go to the awards ceremony tomorrow, the graduation ceremony, as Dale likes to call it, he recognizes every single runner and calls them each up by name. And he doesn't use the word winner or champion. He says the first finisher. And I think one of the things that everybody loves about Courtney is sort of like that, you know, she doesn't present herself as this grand champion. I'm sorry to embarrass you if this is like a long setup to a question, but does it feel like there's a synergy between your personal disposition and the spirit of Hardrock?
Yeah, and it's just guaranteed adventure out here in these mountains, which I also really, really love. So it's perfect in a lot of ways.
Sweet. Well, congratulations. It was an amazing run. Next up, you have a major, major obligation, which is to return the favor to Kevin. So maybe talk a little bit about what Kevin has coming up and how you're going to contribute to his dominant success.
Old Kevin is running the Leadville 100. Which is extra special and exciting because we live in Leadville, so it feels like this hometown backyard race for us, and for him to experience all 100 miles and for me to hopefully be helpful. It will be really cool. So that will be a highlight of August for us.
So are you the captain, though? Are you
Oh my
making
gosh,
the
am I the
spreadsheets?
captain?
Are you making the spreadsheets for Kevin's race?
No one can replace Kevin as the spreadsheeter, but I will still provide the jokes.
Isn't there a funny story where last time you crewed for Kevin, you like forgot his headlamp batteries or something like that?
No, what? No.
Okay, maybe not. I guess I'm misremembering. We'll close it down with just to have you say a few words about, you know, the sunglasses and stuff with Sun God and anything else that sort of like is inspiring you or things that you're excited about for the rest of the season or in the future. We're grateful for Will and the whole Sun God team for making this possible, and I know they've been a great partner of yours, and they're sort of setting you up to be able to chase all your dreams in the future.
Yeah, Sun God's amazing. They're the sunglasses now I train and race and go to the bar in. And
versatile.
Yeah,
Yes.
super versatile. They created a really cool camouflage print, and in some of the prints, wherever you see, depending on how it got cut, there's like the state of Minnesota is in there, or just some other things that are important. So very cool. Thank you, Sun God.
Yeah.
And as far as like my inspiration or motivations, it's always just seeing what's possible. Like I want to just keep finding the things that sound a little too crazy and trying them, and then hopefully that bar of crazy just keeps raising.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for the inspiration. I want to leave a little bit of room if there's any questions from the audience. We can spend a couple minutes on those. So feel free to throw your hand up and we can introduce them into the conversation. Harmo.
Are you going to come back to our
Oh man, too soon. Right now my feet say, no, please. But I love this race. So if we're not here racing it, then coming back as a volunteer or being out cheering would be a really cool way to be part of it.
Executive producer extraordinaire reminded me that I have to repeat the question. What Harmony asked was, will you be at Hardrock next year? So appropriate answer with 8 hours removed from Kissing the Rock. Other questions for Courtney? Go ahead.
I love that you say something can be hard and fun. Can you just talk about a really fun moment from this race or from any, like, what's it like for you in the high peak moments around the race?
So just to repeat the question for the recording here, the question is, love the sentiment of things can be both hard and fun at the same time. So providing an example of something that was hard and fun from yesterday.
Going up and over handies was for sure a great combination of this is really, really hard, but also how cool to be doing this and under, the stars and the moon and the views in every direction, like so special to be in that place doing something I love, but also struggling hugely.
Frickin' handies, man. Did you have a question?
Yeah. I know sometimes you have headphones or earbuds in your race. Did you listen to music today? And if so, what song or soundtrack would fit today's mood?
Great question. So just to repeat for the recording, Rory asks, you wear earbuds occasionally when you race.
Corded headphones.
Corded headphones. OG. So maybe you could expand on that philosophy, but also tell us what you're listening to.
Oh, man. I just really love the old iPod Shuffle, the tiny one, which only works with corded headphones. So I have this iPod Shuffle from a really long time ago, and the playlist on it is also from a really long time ago. But I did put I put music in for Campered Road, which is just a really long road descent, and then the climb out of Ursa, as well as like a mid-race boost before I picked up my Pacers. It's a combination of everything from like 90s and early 2000s pop and rap to country, a lot of country music, and like Prince, Minnesota.
Yes. Purple Rain.
Yeah, I'd have to look though what's really on it because I'm not sure.
Okay, maybe one more. If there's one more from the audience before we let Courtney take a rest here. Go ahead, Stephanie. Yeah.
I found you about this every year, but now that your teammate Francois signed up for Directional, when are you going to see you do this race? Because Jasmine Paris is in it this year, and I just want to see what you can do.
Okay, great closing question from Stephanie Case, the human ambassador for Tour de France, the 200 miler in the Aosta Valley of Italy. She's basically wondering when Courtney is going to sign up for Tour de France.
It is definitely on our list, so we'll see when it happens, but what a cool way to see an area and see what you can do on a course like that. Yeah. What if I was like, oh, surprise?
Yeah. We're not asking her what's next tonight, okay? We give her a few days, okay? Courtney, cheers. Cheers to you.
Cheers, you guys. Thank you.
Thank you all so much for coming. It's an honor to sit with Courtney. Thank you so much to Ryan, our man behind the scenes who always crushes it. Will from Sun God, Harmony in the back who organized everything. And a reminder, stick around. Let's go into the other room. We'll have a couple frosty cold ones and we'll celebrate the 2024 Hardrock. Peace out.